Good afternoon. And welcome to the Chancellor once again.
Thank you.
We are here to listen to.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We met about almost 2 weeks ago. We came here to, as a courtesy, to address the embassy that we intend to protest against our government in Ghana. And we gave reasons in terms of the decline of the economy, the various hardship that our good people are going through, and especially the response from our bodies in terms of our leaders, leave much to be desired. Even though in the history of our country, we've seen some of these parameters or indicators actually decline over the years throughout the various governments. We think that it has declined to a point that it has become unprecedented, from inflation, corruption, ineptitude, incompetence. Every sector of our economy is in decline. And the reason why we actually wanted to add our voice and concerns and also petition our Excellency, who was elected as the president of our country 2 years ago, is that we want to let him understand that he has a duty to play as a president, and the promises, especially their slogan that they've been governing on or campaigning on, has been Better Ghana Agenda. When you look at the indices or we look at the various parameters that you measure a good government with, everything is in decline. You look at the fact that this is a government that has borrowed so much compared to other governments, about $27 billion in 5 years. Look at the fact that you go down and still we are in deplorable state. Our roads, our hospitals, and every segment of our country is declining. And on top of it all, when the government has the opportunity to address, there's this new song that is in Ghana. It says "The Ethiopia." You hear it blaring. I heard the president was in Kumasi or wherever, and that was a song that his campaign team were playing behind him. So we wanted to send a clear message to our president that, his promises, he needs to. We are not here to call for a government change. We are not here to say that indeed you have to step aside and for somebody to come. But we are here to raise awareness that this is what you promised the good people. We need you to start working on it and deliver it. 3 days ago or 4 days ago, all we heard was that our president, out of nowhere, gave about 13 cars to undeserving chiefs. I would say undeserving chiefs, whilst our students, our pupils, are still under trees. And today there was a picture in the Daily Graphic whereby students are actually sitting on cement block in the open as classrooms. So it's about time. I don't know what our government is doing. I don't think that the government understands the pain all of us as Ghanaians are going through. Some may ask that, okay, you guys live in the United States, the most comfortable economy you can ever dream of. So why are you doing this? We are doing this because we have brothers, we have sisters, we have aunties, we have families who are complaining. We have indeed a part to play in our economy. Just about this year or last year, we know that just the remittances alone contributed about 5% to our GDP. We have folks who are building, who have businesses. I have a business in Ghana. It's not working right. You know why? Because our city is no good. You change money in Ghana, and the next day the money is valueless. Our city up to date is the third worst currency in the whole of this world. In this year, Ukraine and Southern Sudan is the only countries that are worst off. So what did we go wrong? 3 weeks ago or so, Ghanaians were queuing for petrol after we discovered oil in our own country. We thought that these things are things that will take us forward, but rather we are going backwards. So something might not be right. And you look at the fact that before you hear the increase in fuel, now fuel is about $5 in equivalence gallon. But all that you know is that National Petroleum Agency, which is one of the agencies that controls the fuel pricing and all that, is renting an office space for $68,000 a month. The same way, the board of Boast have a rental place that costs the nation about $43,000 a month. So it's not that we don't have money, we are borrowing enough, but it comes in and is siphoned through shady and irresponsible practices. So all that we are calling for is accountability, responsibility, transparency, and a government that will be there for the people. We all know about JIDA, SUBA, SADA, 40s, and all that, and judgment debts. Even though Wyoming has not been indicted yet, we all know what has happened. The government fraudulently, paid sums of money to him. Isoputon, name them. There are so many. So we take money from donor agencies and we bring it to shady deals. SUBA, JIDA, SADA, and these three agencies alone cost Ghanaians, our economy, $2.5 billion. Really? How can we make ends meet if this is our practices? So all that we are saying is that our government are good people. It's not about elections, it's about delivering on their promises. And there's this hullabaloo about the US Embassy tweeting, I know that we are a sovereign state. But they say out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So it's not only us that is portraying Ghana's image in a different light. The US Embassy knows what is going on in Ghana. The international community knows what is going on in Ghana. You cannot, the government of Ghana, Mahama, cannot continue to lead us through propaganda. The right things needs to be done. And all that we are calling for is that he needs to lead as a president. He needs to stop the decline. He needs to understand that the people of Ghana deserve better. He needs to understand that we will continue to pester them. We will continue to occupy them. We will continue to show presence. We will continue to be here. We know that he will be here next month. We will be here and show him that definitely we, the people of Ghana, we deserve better. And he needs to start to listen. It's about listening. Because the way he keeps on pushing Ghanaians or oppressing Ghanaians, before we realize it will turn into a national security issue. Because in economics, in most of the civil wars that has happened in Ghana, we are not here to threaten anyone, but most of the things that has happened in the world of civil war and stuff like that is because of this kind of economic practices. You continue to push your people down, it will get to a point, they will rise up, they will begin to speak, and if they are speaking, if you are not careful as a government, it can turn into anything. So this is a harmony play. We hope that this petition, even though it's very simple, it's only 3 pages, it has our concerns, it talks about who we are, it talks about the fact that these are some of the issues that we've identified even from afar. It talks about the fact that we have some practical measures that we think that if they have the political will to start implementing, we'll go far as a country. For instance, we have this Freedom of Information Bill that has stayed in our parliament for years. Both parties, minority and majority, don't want to do a thing about it because they know that if they pass that Freedom of Information Bill, some of them will be implicated. The same way we think that the Attorney General Office and the Justice Ministry have to be separated. We also think that the UOCO, the TRAJ, and all those neutral bodies have to be empowered so that at the end of the day, they can go ahead and prosecute if they start any investigation. Now, as it is now, when they are done with their findings, they hand over everything they have back to government. And when they hand everything back to government, if any of the government cronies are implicated, that's the end of the story. We don't hear about anything. So those are some of the things that if the government have the will to start doing. And seriously, let's stop borrowing. How can we borrow $15,000 a year for sanitary pads? Are we serious as a nation? Seriously. We are all Ghanaians here. Let's be truthful. Let's be honest with ourselves. Because we are in so bad of a state, anything, it's like here in America. If your credit is so bad, do you know what the capital ones of the world do to you? They will call you over the phone and say that Kweku Boateng or Sally or Akolache, your credit is so bad, you can't get any credit anywhere. So this is a credit card of $1,000 and we'll charge you 30% interest. Do you like it or not? Because you need the money, you just grab it, and it worsens your situation. The same thing is happening in Ghana. We keep on borrowing, and right now we are at B minus. So we are contracting loans with, as of this year, our payment or our servicing of our debt alone is about $8 billion. How can we make ends? So we need to stop borrowing, and we need to, our government need to have the political will, identify the loopholes in the system. As it is now, there are folks who have traveled outside the country but are still being paid because there's ghost names. Ghost names everywhere. How can't we apply a payroll system that works, a biometric system? When you ask, they say they are about to do it, national ID. They started doing this national ID for how many years? Several years. They've not done it yet. They have money to do that, but they are channeling to different sources. You know, so there are so many things our government can do. There are so many practical measures they can do if they have the will, if they have the forthrightness to apply it. That's all we are asking. Look at those corrupt people. Look at people, the people who are not working. You know, you have somebody who disgraced the whole country in the last World Cup. You come back and you bring him closer to you in the presidency. You say that you've reshuffled him. You ask him, you ask back one person and you throw him to the second largest city in Accra, that you go and manage them, but you are not good at the Ministry of Sports. How? You know? So all that we are saying, Mr. President, Your Excellency, please, 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 humbly, start working.
We'll do well and carry your concerns and the petition that you have presented. We'll make sure that it gets to the appropriate authorities. And I believe that they will work with us. They will just put it aside. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So once again, we appreciate all that you've done and as promised it will go. And we thank you also for your offer to work with us. You know, I always tell our people that the embassy does not belong to us. It's for all Ghanaians. Yeah. It's our home. You know, and of course, there's this saying that wisdom does not lie with one person. And so whatever you have, whatever contribution that you think you can offer us, our doors are open. We give our contacts out to you. Just contact us because we are all partners in the development of our country. So we are grateful and please take up the offer and challenge us and see what we can do.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. We started outside a couple of times already. No, but now I tell you, no. I don't think the president will.